One. One, two. 1, 2, 1, 2. Checking the sound. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are ready. It's about 5 minutes after 11 a.m. here in Haar, less than 12 hours after these two teams played a game last night that ended at about 11:30 p.m. in Heidenheim, a 2-hour drive from Munich. Everybody traveling to Munich for the start of this game starting early because it's a very special day for one of the members of the Heidenheim, of the Haar Disciples. Richard Klein will get married later today, and the entire team would like to attend. And so they asked the Heideköpfe if they could push the start time of this game up, and the Heideköpfe graciously said yes. This is the final game of the Bundesliga season, and it will be the 4th time these two teams meet. Right now, the Disciples have won 2 of the 3 games, with last night's 7-5 victory over the Heidenheim Heideköpfe in Heidenheim. And right now the plate conference is taking place between Klaus Eckle, the umpires, and Philip Howard. And I guess it's a little lax on the time concerns. We're already running about 7 minutes late today, but who can really blame anybody? Nobody got much sleep last night. The umpire crew today is Patrick Meister behind home plate. Dan DiBacco is up the first baseline, and Alexander Wagner is doing the third baseline. And the defensive alignment that the Haar Disciples are going to run out there today looks like this. It's very different compared to what we've seen so far this year. Nate Sean Thomas with his first start at third base this season, and Miguel Pinheiro will be playing shortstop. Simon Lechner is at second base. Christoph Ziegler is at first base. In the outfield, David Wallace in left, Luke Steinlein in center. Darren Fisher, who made a great catch last night, is in right field. And the battery of William Thorpe behind the plate and Michael Click on the mound, right-hander from the Philadelphia area. He has been fantastic since coming to the Haar Disciples mid-season. And he's going to take the mound. The right-hander, who in 57 1/3 innings has an ERA of 1.26. He has 101 strikeouts against only 11 walks. 8 earned runs. That is excellent. Don't need to tell you that, of course. 33 hits allowed, only 3 hit batters. A whip of .77, so he's been really, really limiting the damage. Although he's been pitching in tough luck the last couple of games, he has not gotten much run support. His last start last weekend, Saarlouis was leading 1-0 until 2 outs in the 9th inning, and the Haar Disciples finally rallied and got 3 runs of support for Mike Click, who then went on and finished the game. And the Disciples took the 2 games in Saarlouis last weekend. And right now we're still waiting for the team to take the field. And you can see it's a lovely sunny day. And knock on wood, that's exactly what I said yesterday at about this point in the game. Yesterday's ball game starting right on time at 7 p.m. and it was beautiful, cloudless and sunny and warm, and then seemingly out of nowhere came one evil little rain cloud that drenched everybody and nearly destroyed my equipment, nearly canceled the broadcast. But the Heideköpfe did an amazing job getting the field in playing shape. They cleaned that thing up in about 45 minutes, and I'm telling you, the whole place was underwater for about 10 minutes. And we were able to get yesterday's game in. And now the Disciples are huddling off to the left on the third base line near the third base dugout, the home dugout here in Haar. And they're going to take the field momentarily. The umpires are ready. The fans are ready. A hearty group of Heidenheim fans have made the trek down here, as they always do. And I'm sure they brought the noisemakers with them. And the Haar fans set their alarms early as well to make it here for this 11 a.m. start time. Who needs sleep when there's baseball to be played? Most of the teams didn't get much sleep last night. Heidenheim got to go to bed before the Disciples did, but they had to make the 2-hour drive this morning, whereas the Disciples had to make the 2-hour drive last night. So everybody's really kind of coming from the same place as far as sleep is concerned, and that's why the umpires, and the umpires included Patrick Meister and Alex Wagner, were both at last night's game as well. And so that's why not exactly super strict on the start time. We're about 10 minutes after 11. This game's scheduled for 11 to begin. And the Disciples still huddling over near the third base dugout. If they win this game today, they would clinch second place for the first time in franchise history. And that's because Regensburg lost yesterday. And if they win this game, it won't matter what Regensburg does, because the Disciples will have a one-game better record. Right now, the Disciples currently, as we speak, in second place, a record of 19 wins, 8 losses. Heideköpfe ahead of them, of course, in first place, 23 wins and 4 losses. And remember, there's 4 more weeks of baseball before the playoffs begin, as the top 4 teams in both the North and South will play one more round against each other, and that will determine the placement for the actual playoffs, the quarterfinals that will begin after that. But after this weekend, we have the All-Star game next weekend, and then the national team will travel to the Netherlands for Honkbal Week in Haarlem. And so there's going to be a bit of a hiatus of baseball from the Bundesliga over the next few weeks, as you see Michael Click throwing his warm-up pitches, the right-hander. I already gave you his numbers. They are fantastic. 101 strikeouts against 11 walks. He joined the team midway through the season. The year began with Darren Fisher as the Disciples' foreign starter. And he started off shakily and then came on later, even though it was already decided that they would bring Michael Click in. And Darren Fisher has proved himself very worthy of a spot on this team, not only for his pitching, but for his ability as a position player. And he's in the lineup today, playing right field. As you see the defensive lineup again, I'll give you the lineup that Michael Click is going to face. Michael Click, rather. Looks like this. Sasha Lutz leading off, playing left field. Jay Pecci, the third baseman, batting second. Gary Owens in center field, bats third. Mitch Nilsson, who had 3 hits and 3 runs batted in yesterday, is going to play second base and bat cleanup. Simon Göring, the catcher, bats fifth. Ludwig Glaser playing first base today. He's batting sixth. Sean Larry, who was hitless yesterday but was robbed twice, he's playing right field and batting seventh. Johannes Krum in the lineup at the designated hitter position. He's batting eighth. And Philip Schultz, the shortstop, will bat ninth. So this ball game about ready to begin. It is now 11:12 in the morning here on Saturday, June the 30th, 2018. And you can hear and see the Heideköpfe fans in your screen. The signature sound of their fans as the first pitch is set to begin. In just a minute, Click is still kicking the dirt away from the mound. He works from the stretch exclusively, and he is a very slow worker, so get comfortable, folks. Here we go. First pitch at 11:13 to Sasha Lutz. And a fastball in there for a strike, 0-1. Sasha in yesterday's game was 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored. One strike from Click to Sasha Lutz. And the pitch. A high pop-up, foul territory. Ziegler drifting over near the Heideköpfe dugout, and that ball is over on the other side of the screen and out of play for strike 2. A sun-splashed morning here in Haar. Most of the time, we're just getting to the ballpark around now, starting to set things up. So it'll be an early conclusion, which leaves lots of time to go to the beer garden. 0-2 on Sasha Lutz. Michael Click, the right-hander, looking in for the sign from Thorpe. Still looking in. Now he's got one, and he comes set. And the 0-2 pitch. That's a fastball high, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Click, when he came over here, his last few years pitching in the independent leagues, he had been used to being a reliever. But he's been very dependable to go deep in games. The 1-2, a breaking ball. This has popped up into short right center field. Steinlein drifting over. A lot of hang time, but he's under it and puts it away for the out. 1 down. And that will bring up Jay Pecci. Pecci in yesterday's game had 1 hit in 5 at-bats. He scored 2 runs. Switch hitter batting left. He's from Redwood City, California. Give you his numbers on the season in a moment. As Click comes set. And the pitch is popped up on the infield. Click is calling for it to the right of the mound. He squeezes it. 1 pitch and 2 outs. Pecci had been hitting at 350 before that little jam shot floated back to Click. Normally the infielders will call off the pitcher, but Click, a very experienced man out there on the mound, made sure everybody knew he had that one. Now Gary Owens. Gary Owens hitting at 462 with 10 home runs. And yesterday's game had 1 hit in 5 at-bats and a run scored. Click against Owens. And the first pitch, a breaking ball, and it's in there on the outside corner. That's the first off-speed pitch that Click has thrown so far in this game. 1 strike on Gary Owens. Gary was the MVP of the Bundesliga South last year, and he's putting in quite a bid to do it again. The 0-1, swing and a miss, 0-2. That was the fastball. Owens with 44 runs batted in. He's walked 11 times. His OPS is 1385. Mentioned yesterday. Well, we'll tell you after the 0-2 pitch. Here it comes. Popped foul out of play. The Heideköpfe have a team OPS of exactly 1,000. They've been averaging roughly 10 runs per game, but yesterday only managed 5 in a ball game that featured gutsy pitching from Jan Tomek. He went 8, and there's a big chopper to third. Nate Thomas has to back up and fire from deep third on a bounce, and Ziegler had the ball pop out of his glove. Owens beats it out. Let's look at that on the replay. It was a slow chopper, and Thomas backed up. He bounced it to first on purpose. Well, I think they might have had him had Ziegler been able to squeeze that one, but it popped out. And it's been ruled a base hit for Gary Owens. So he is at first base with the game's first hit. And Mitch Nilsson, another one of the big boppers, hitting 493. If you thought 462 was a lot, Mitch Nilsson hitting 493 with 9 homers. He had 3 runs batted in and 3 hits in yesterday's game. Switch hitter from Australia. Gary Owens on first base, a short lead being held on by Ziegler. Click from the stretch, deals to Nilsson. Fastball is a strike, 0-1. Click. So far the early going has been pumping strikes in there. There you see Gary Owens being held on by Ziegler at first base. One strike to Mitch Nilsson, and Click looking Owens back. And now Owens skips back off the bag to take his lead. And a balk has been called. So Owens will go to second base, and Philip Howard out to argue that. I did not see what that was. It was called by Dan DeBacco, or no, Alex Wagner right now is discussing it with him. I guess Click started to come set and then he stopped, and that's something you can't do. So now Owens is in scoring position. Mitch Nilsson has 1 strike on him. And Philip Howard, a few words for his pitcher, Click, as he heads back towards the dugout. So Mitch Nilsson with a 1-strike count. Gary Owens on second base. There's no score. We're in the top of the first inning. Just getting started here on a beautiful Saturday morning in Haar. Click comes set, 0-1. The pitch on the way now. Swing and a miss, strike 2. And again, Simon Lechner, the second baseman, is on the outfield grass, although he's not as deep as he was yesterday in Heidenheim. He's maybe 3 steps out onto the outfield grass. Yesterday, he was about 10. The right fielder, Darren Fisher, is very deep. 0-2 on Mitch Nilsson. As Click comes set. Checks on Owens a couple times, and now he deals. Fastball high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Owens at second base. 2 outs. Top of the first, no score. The 1-2 pitch to Mitch Nilsson is coming right now. Curve, and he checked his swing and fouled it off to the left. Nilsson was fooled on the pitch, but the ball hit his bat somehow, and he stays alive. Ball game starting at 13 minutes after 11. The Heideköpfe fans were here at about 10 o'clock in the morning, before almost anybody else was. And they brought their noisemakers with them. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Gary Owens on second base, no score. Top of the first. Mike Click has his sign. And he comes set with a deep breath. And now he brings it home. Check swing on a breaking ball in the dirt. They appeal. Did he go? No, says Alex Wagner. Klaus Eckle was also giving the safe sign, for what it's worth, as he's coaching down the third base side. So the count 2-2. It did not appear that Nilsson went around on that. There you see the situation. Owens on second base. 2-2 the count to Mitch Nilsson. Click's pitch. A fly ball to left field. This is playable for Wallace. He is under it and squeezes it for the final out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base at the end of a half inning of play here in Haar. No score between the Heideköpfe and the Haar Disciples. This is Haar Disciples Baseball. Präsentiert von dem Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD.
Fußballturnier oder Familienausflug? V-Klasse? Vito? Sprinter als Mehrsitzer? Egal was du vorhast, bei uns passen sie alle rein. Dein Mietwagen zum Discounterpreis.
As we move to the bottom of the first inning here in Haar, the right-hander R.J. Hively is on the mound. He will be working for the Heidenheim Heideköpfe, and he will be backed up with the following defensive alignment. Jay Pecci playing third base. Philip Schultz is playing short. Mitch Nilsson playing second. Ludwig Glaser playing first base. And as usual, Sasha Lutz in left. Gary Owens in center and Sean Larry in right. Behind the plate, as is basically customary for almost every game I've seen the last 4 years, with the exception of a couple of games where Philip Schultz caught earlier this year. Simon Göring behind the plate. And R.J. Hively, the right-hander, is on the mound. He's going to deal with the following Haar Disciples lineup. Luke Steinlein, the center fielder, leads off. Nate Sean Thomas, the third baseman, batting second. Christoph Ziegler, the first baseman, bats third. Will Thorpe, the cleanup hitter, the catcher. Darren Fisher in right field, batting fifth. Simon Lechner, the second baseman, bats sixth. Miguel Pinheiro, the shortstop, is batting seventh. David Wallace in left field. is batting 8th. And Bernd Radovic, who had a big 2-run single in yesterday's game, the designated hitter, batting 9th. R.J. Hively from Orange, California, 29 years of age. He's played AAA in the Diamondbacks organization with Reno as recently as a couple of years ago. Played in the Atlantic League, and this is his first year in the Bundesliga. ERA of 2.6 in 59 innings, 48 hits, 17 earned runs, 16 walks, and 69 strikeouts. And he's going to face Luke Steinlein to start things off. And Hively's first pitch is swung on and missed, strike one. Steinlein hitting at 242 on the season. And the 0-1 is a ball outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. R.J. Hively. Looking at his numbers, he's probably been the most consistent pitcher for the Heideköpfe, who's given them some depth in ball games. 1 ball, 1 strike. Line drive on 1 hop, maybe a broken bat to Mitch Nielsen, the second baseman, and he throws out Steinlein. 4-3 on the putout. 1 away. The crack of the bat was loud, but I think it's because the bat actually cracked. So that'll go on the firewood pile. And that'll bring up Nate-Sean Thomas. Steinlein, by the way, in yesterday's game was 0 for 5, so now he's 0 for his last 6. Nate-Sean Thomas was 1 for 5 yesterday with a run scored. And so he will come up to the plate. Switch hitter, he will bat left-handed. Hitting .282 on the year. OPS of 740. If he gets on, he can do some running. Stolen 12 bases on the year. Left-hand hitter, and he squibs one on the ground to the left side. Juggled by Schultz, and he will have no play. Philip Schultz, the shortstop, was going to his backhand side, and he was going to have to rush the play to have any chance to get Thomas anyway. And the second the ball hit off the heel of his glove, Thomas was going to be safe. So we'll see how they rule that. Nate-Sean is at first base. And Christoph Ziegler will step up to the plate. Ziegler yesterday was on base 4 times. He was 1 for 2, but he also drew 3 walks and scored 2 runs. So the Disciples with Nate-Sean Thomas on first base. There you see him being held on by Ludwig Glaser. Infield back looking for a double play. Thomas is bluffing on first move, and the pitch is high to Ziegler. 1 ball, no strikes. And they have given Nate Thomas a base hit on that play. Ziegler with a 1-ball count. Thomas off first base. Very short lead. He's not going. The pitch is a strike on the outside corner. 1-1 from R.J. Hively. The Californian who attended Ole Miss. Great baseball program there, of course. 1 ball and 1 strike from Hively to Christoph Ziegler. Thomas off first. 1 out. No score, bottom of the first inning, and the pitch. Fly ball to left field. Litz started in, now he's camped under it, and he makes a one-handed catch, chest high for out number 2 as Ziegler lofts one the opposite field for the second out. That'll bring up William Thorpe. Thorpe yesterday, 2 for 4, 2 runs batted in, 2 runs scored. He drilled a home run, his 3rd of the year, hitting .337 and slugging .547. That's good for a .977 OPS. He's been great. This is now his 3rd year with the Disciples. And he comes up, Nate-Sean Thomas on first base. Darren Fisher is the on-deck hitter. So Thorpe, a right-hand hitter. Pecci, the 3rd baseman, is even with the bag. The shortstop Schultz is also back. Nielsen and Glaser on the right side playing normal position. Glaser holding on Thomas, of course. And the pitch to Thorpe, fouled away, strike 1. Will's home run last night off of Logan Grigsby was an absolute laser beam line drive that sailed all the way halfway up into the trees in Heidenheim. And when you look at it on a replay, it looks like it's going to be a line drive to the shortstop, and instead it kept carrying all the way over the fence. He really, really crushed it. 1 strike to count to him. The pitch, that's a breaking pitch, down and away. Thorpe lays off, 1 ball and 1 strike. I'd like to welcome those of you that might be listening on Mind Sport Radio Don't forget, you can tune into the weekly podcast that I've been doing with Andreas Thies. We'll be recording it on Tuesday, and it usually goes up on Wednesday, where we talk all things Bundesliga. 1 ball and 1 strike, and the pitch. That is high, 2 balls and a strike. William Thorpe looking down at Philip Howard, the third base coach, giving the signs. 2-1 might be a running count. You might see Thomas take off here. Let's see what kind of lead he takes. Right now, you can see he's just standing a step or so off the bag. And now Hively is set. 2-1. There goes Thomas. The pitch is low. Goering's throw to second base is not in time. Thomas with his 13th stolen base. And he is in at second base with 2 down, and Thorpe with a 3-1 count. Take another look at that. Goering's throw was a little bit to the first base side. Pitch was close and probably could have been called a strike, but because Goering popping out of the crouch, he somewhat shielded the whole plate umpire, Patrick Meister. And so the count now 3 balls and 1 strike, 2 outs. Thomas, good speed on second base, no score. The pitch, a curve on 3-1, and it's in there for a strike. Patrick Meister gave the strike 3 punch out, but it's only strike 2. Well, I mentioned that Meister also didn't get very much sleep last night. Full count on William Thorpe. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him to chase the breaking ball down and away, and down goes Thorpe. So 2 consecutive breaking balls on 3 balls and a strike from R.J. Hively, and he pitches out of the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left at the end of 1 full inning of play here in Haar. No score in the ball game between the Heideköpfe and the Disciples. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, präsentiert von dem Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. We move to the top of the second inning here in Haar. No score between the Heideköpfe and the Haar Disciples. Tim Collins with you on a beautiful Saturday morning here in the south of Germany. Sunny day for some folks, myself included. Summer vacation from the school has started, so nowhere else to be except at the ball field, and nowhere else I'd rather be. And I'm happy you are with us. Simon Goering, Ludwig Glaser, and Sean Larry, 5, 6, and 7 in the Heideköpfe order, will come up against Michael Click. Click threw 15 pitches in the first inning, allowed just a base hit. And the pitch to Simon Goering coming right now. Just missed the outside corner, ball 1. Goering in yesterday's ball game had 1 hit in 5 at-bats. He drove in a run. It was an infield single. 1-0. jammed him. A pop-up to the right side, chased by Ziegler, and he's going to run out of room. That ball is well over the other side. 1 ball and 1 strike. Click so far has been burying that fastball inside on the right-hand hitters. One ball, 1 strike to Simon Göring. And Click's pitch. Curve is outside, 2-1. Göring hitting at .487. He's got 3 home runs, 20 RBIs. He's only struck out 3 times all year. And the 2-1. Foul to the screen, straight back, and the count 2-2 now. Michael Click, the right-hander, works from the first base side of the rubber. Nate Thomas, the third baseman, is back. Göring had a bunt yesterday for a base hit. 2-2, the pitch. Fly ball to deep right field, slicing over near the line. Fisher pulls up and gloves it over in the corner. And there's 1 away. 4 flyouts for the Heideköpfe against Michael Click so far in this game. Click is a guy who has had high strikeout totals so far. He's gotten up to 16. So far, no strikeouts, but some flyouts. Ludwig Glaser will come up to the plate now. Glaser only with 1 home run this year. He has 35 hits in 80 at-bats. Right-hand hitter does not wear batting gloves. And the pitch from Click, lined foul to the right side, strike 1. Glaser was the designated hitter yesterday, and he was 1 for 4. And it was his spot that came up with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning, but he had already been removed from the game for a pinch runner, Stefan Karp. And then it fell to Tristan Hurler, swing and a miss, strike 2. And Tristan Hurler struck out to end the game with the tying runs on 2nd and 3rd in the bottom of the 9th inning. Yesterday's ball game was a nail-biter all the way to the end. Luke Steinlein nailing down the save for the Disciples, who are playing for 2nd place, something they have never accomplished. The 0-2, breaking ball, strike called, and that is strike 3. And again, Patrick Meister forgot the count, I think. He called the pitch a strike. Glaser not happy with it. And that was one of those calls where I think Meister probably regretted it as soon as he called it, but once you've done it, you can't take it back. And so that is strike 3. And there are 2 down. Sean Larry will step up to the plate now. Larry having a career year in terms of home runs. I mentioned that yesterday, hitting .290 after yesterday's 0-4, but he does have 8 homers, including 1 that was here in Haar. And that pitch is low to him. He's the only one who's hit a home run since the Disciples have installed that higher net here. But his home run did not go over the high net. It just went over the yellow line, which is all you need now. 1 ball and no strikes. Click's pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1. 1-1. They installed that new netting about a month ago here in Haar, and if you look across the top of your screen, you can see it, especially off the left side. The brighter net at the top. If the ball hits that net, it is a home run. 1 ball and 1 strike. The pitch. Curve and a beauty, strike 2. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the 2nd, no score between Heidenheim and Haar. Clicks 1-2 pitch. Fastball inside, and Larry was looking for something out over the plate. Click is working a little more quickly this inning. Normally he's very deliberate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here it comes. Curve tapped weakly on the ground up the first base side, but it pulls foul just wide of the bag, so the count's still 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Sean Larry. And Click's pitch is coming right now. Got him swinging with a fastball. In the end, he just blew the heat right past him. Nothing across the board for the Heideköpfe as we go to the bottom of the 2nd inning here in Haar. No score between the Heidenheim Heideköpfe and the Haar Disciples. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, präsentiert vom Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD.
Fußballturnier? Fußballturnier oder Familienausflug?
Darren Fisher will come up to the plate for the Haar Disciples. I'm confusing my H teams, Haar and Heidenheim. The first pitch from Heivli of the Heidenheim Heideköpfe against Fisher of the Haar Disciples is a strike. Darren Fisher, right-hand hitter, was hitless in yesterday's game. He came in as the pitch is low, 1 ball and 1 strike. He came in for Ruben Manriquez and pinch hit with the bases loaded. He is hitting .500 on the year, though, in only 12 at-bats, 6 for 12. 1-1, that's low and outside, 2 balls and a strike. Fisher ended up going 1 for 3. Excuse me, I was wrong. He was not hitless in the game. He did have a base hit that scored a run in the 9th inning, an important hit. The 2-1 hit off the fists, and it's going to float into right field for a base hit. Darren Fisher rounds first base as Larry gets the ball in. And Fisher's got a broken bat single, maybe. It sounded like the bat possibly could have broken. Take a look at this one on the replay. Second base hit for the Disciples, and that will bring up Simon Lechner. No score. We are in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Lechner, whereas number 72, who in yesterday's game, Simon was 1 for 4. As RJ Heivli comes set. Fisher with a short lead off first. The pitch to Lechner is taken for a strike over the inside corner, 0-1. Simon this year hitting at 160, 4 for 25. No balls and 1 strike to count. Fisher extends his lead ever so slightly. The pitch, Lechner squared to bunt and took a ball. Pitch outside as Goering had popped out of the crouch, thinking about throwing behind Darren Fisher. Fisher doesn't have any stolen bases, but he's a fast runner. The Disciples have 1 stolen base today. That was Thomas in the 1st inning, but he was stranded. 1-1. The pitch, Lechner squares bunt, and he bunts it accidentally, and it's a good one. Fielded by Pecci. Throw to first base is in time. Lechner was trying to get out of the way of the pitch, and the ball hit the bat instead of him. And it ended up being a perfectly executed sacrifice bunt, just like you do it in practice. Take a look at this on the replay. Play goes 5-3. And that will bring up Miguel Pinheiro. Well, that was something you don't see every day. The pitch was way inside on Lechner, and he could not get out of the way of it. Pinheiro comes in hitting at .265. Runner on second base with good speed is Darren Fisher. And the pitch from Hively, swing and a miss, strike one on the fastball. There's one out. Bottom of the second inning, no score between the Disciples and the Heideköpfe. A battle between the first and second place teams in the Bundesliga South. Two teams that are playoff bound. The 0-1, that's a strike, 0-2. Fastball at the knees over the outside corner. Hively not really messing around too much. He's thrown mostly fastballs. But now that he's out in front of Pinheiro, he can change it up if he likes. No balls and 2 strikes the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And Pinheiro gone on 3 consecutive fastballs. That's the second strikeout for Hively in the ball game. Nothing fancy. Here it is and hit it if you can, and Pinheiro could not. That will bring up the number 8 hitter, David Wallace. Wallace in yesterday's ball game, 1 for 4 with a run batted in. He had a bases loaded walk. The Disciples had 2 bases loaded walks. One from Kevin Treasel, one from David Wallace, and then a 2-run single from Bernd Radovic. So talk about production from unexpected places, and they won the game by 2 runs, 7-5. The pitch, Wallace looks at a fastball down the pipe for a strike, 0-1. David Wallace hitting at 247, 20 hits and 81 at bats. Big hole on the left side between Schultz and Pecci, the shortstop and third baseman. Now Schultz backs up a little bit. The pitch, fastball outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hively, the right-hander, works from the first base side of the rubber. Well, now he's more in the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike to count to the right-handed hitting Wallace. And the pitch, swing and a miss. That was something diving down and away from Wallace. That was a good pitch. And well located. It comes in on a plane that looks like it's going to be in the middle of the zone in a hittable spot, and Wallace chased it, and the ball broke down and away from him. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Darren Fisher on second base. There are 2 outs, no score. We're in the bottom of the second. And the pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. So Hively dials it up a notch after the leadoff single. And the sacrifice, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base. We go to the 3rd inning here in Haar. It's 12:15 here on a beautiful sunny day, scoreless. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, presented von dem Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. We move to the top of the 3rd inning, and for Heidenheim, 8-9-1. Johannes Krumm, Philip Schultz, and then Sascha Lutz against Michael Klick, who has struck out 2 and allowed just a hit, as Johannes Krumm, who is is batting .261. He does have a home run. 6 hits and 23 at-bats. He's the designated hitter today. Also a possible relief pitcher, should the Heideköpfe need that. They used 3 pitchers in yesterday's game. And the first pitch is swung on and missed from Chrome, strike 1. And Click working much more quickly today. And there's a pop-up into right field. Fisher started in. Now he's curling back near the line, and he makes the catch. Another flyout. That's the 5th one the Heideköpfe have hit against Michael Click. So Philip Schultz will step up to the plate. Schultz in yesterday's ball game was 1 for 3. Switch hitter batting left-handed, and he squares the bunt and takes a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Philip Schultz hitting at .326. He's got 3 home runs, 22 runs batted in. He's drawn 19 walks. And the 1-strike pitch, the 1-0 pitch rather, is a strike, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. 1 ball and 1 strike to Philip Schultz. Here it comes. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball down and in. 1 and 2. Well, this is the quickest I've seen Click work. And looking at the YouTube chat, David talking about Mark Burley. Yes, Mark Burley was a very quick worker, a left-handed pitcher. Very good pitcher. There's a swing, a foul to the screen. Schultz stays alive. If you want to check out some interesting footage of Mark Burley, you should watch his perfect game. And you should watch the catch that Dwayne Wise made on a fly ball off the bat of Gabe Kapler with 1 out in the 9th inning. Dwayne Wise made one of the most ridiculous catches you will ever see, and it saved a perfect game. I think that was back in 2008. There's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Foul tipped into the mid of Thorpe. Strike 3. That's the 3rd strikeout for Click. And down goes Schultz. And now the top of the order, Sasha Lutz, who fly to center field his first time. Top of the order. 2 outs, nobody on base. Top of the 3rd inning, no score in the ball game. Sasha Lutz came into the game as he looks at a strike on the first pitch. Hitting at .372. He has 5 home runs, 18 runs batted in. 11 walks, 17 strikeouts. That walk total actually seems to be a bit low for him. Normally he's really walking all the time. He hits a little squibber to the right of the mound. It's gloved by Click, and he takes it to the bag himself. And a very quick and easy inning for Michael Click. He has retired 7 in a row since allowing the 2-out single to Gary Owens. That's the only base runner he's allowed in the game. And we go to the bottom of the 3rd, no score here in Haar. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, präsentiert vom Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. We move to the bottom of the third inning here in Haar. And Bernd Radovic steps up against R.J. Hively, and he takes a strike. And I am joined by my good friend, Rick Royston. Rick, how you doing?
Good, Tim. How are you?
I don't hear you at all. Hold on, say that again.
Good, Tim. How are you?
I'm good. There's a ground ball to the right side, and it's a base hit for Beastie. As he lumbers his way down the line. He had a very important 2-run single in yesterday's game. And Rick, check your volume one more time. Just say hi.
Hi, hi.
Can you all hear him? Keep talking.
You can answer. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I got the volume pumped all the way. Now talk.
Pump up the volume. Pump up the volume.
Oh yeah, whoa, that was loud. Wait a minute. Try it again.
Pump up the volume. Dance,
There we
dance.
go. Pump up the volume. I think you're good now.
Good. Okay, great. Got our levels right?
Got the levels right as far as I can tell. So Bernd Radovic is on first base. That is the third hit allowed by R.J. Hively in this ballgame. Now the top of the order, Luke Steinlein. No score. We are in the bottom of the third inning. Steinlein squares to bunt, and he bunts it foul. Well, we saw about 1 billion foul bunts yesterday.
That's a lot of foul bunts.
That's a lot of foul bunts. But then in the 9th inning, the Disciples had 2 good bunts. Yeah, in last inning, Simon Lechner actually laid down a good bunt, but it was totally by accident. He was trying to get away out of the way of the pitch, and he couldn't pull the bat back, and the ball hit the bat, and it rolled perfectly to Jay Pecci. And Disciples could not, however, capitalize. Radovic on first, and Steinlein pops it up. Shallow center field. Owens is racing in. Now he stops, and he's under it to one-hand it for the first out.
Yeah, bunting has become somewhat of a lost art in Major League Baseball.
Not in the Bundesliga. Well,
it's all about
I don't know if it's been artfully done in the Bundesliga, but they're at least trying.
walks, strikeouts, and home runs. That's what it's all about now.
I don't know if that's just the way it's trending because of the type of training that pitchers go through and the way they're selected, the way teams draft. They just draft guys that throw 150 miles an hour. Nathan Thomas steps up. Radovic still on first base, and Thomas looks at a breaking pitch that drops low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Thomas singled his first time, stole second, and he was stranded there.
Nathan batting .282 on the season. Getting on base at a good clip, .390. Of course, those stats need to be updated after today's game.
Well, he's only had the 1 at bat.
Oh, that helps.
Yeah. The pitch fouled away, and a good cut by Thomas. Nate Sean is from the British Virgin Islands. And if you remember last year, there was the devastating hurricane season with just hurricanes all over the map. And British Virgin Islands were not spared. And the Haar Disciples did a great thing, and they still continue to raise money to try to help Nate Sean's hometown, Tortola. Pitch is up and in. He has to bend backwards out of the way, 2-1.
Yeah, it's really a great initiative the Disciples promoted.
They raised
those people, yeah.
I think they raised a couple €1,000, and the money went directly to Nate and his family. Nate basically just brought it back to British Virgin Islands and put it towards the things that he knew they needed. There's a slap job foul, and the count now 2-2. Thomas slapping a ground ball down the line. Ball is retrieved by Pinheiro now.
Oh, just a gorgeous day for baseball here in Haar.
Yeah. That's what we said yesterday, and it was just like this, and then the skies opened up and nearly destroyed all my equipment. And then it was sunny again, albeit very humid. It is still humid today. It's a bit breezy. Wind is blowing in from what I can tell.
Yep, definitely.
2-2 pitch. Thomas breaks his bat and hits a little floater that's going to be caught by, no, it's dropped by Nilsson. Did he catch it on the fly? He did catch it on the fly, and he dropped it on the transfer. Well, he can't drop that ball intentionally to go for the double play. That would be an intentional drop. If the ball hits the fielder's glove and they drop it intentionally, that is not allowed. It's sort of like an infield fly.
Yep.
When the runner is on. Well, that's the second out.
It's like Nate will have to get a new bat.
Yeah, there have been, I think, 3 broken bats already. Siegler up there with the same bat he had yesterday. He lost his grip on it, and the bat went flying and nailed the backstop yesterday. There's a swing and a foul. Siegler with a big cut. Strike 1. He's 0 for 1 in this game. Christoph wearing the number 2 today. think the Disciples didn't exactly have time to do laundry after last night's late arrival back home. Everybody got home around 2, a little after 2.
Let's hope they're fresh for today.
The pitch is low and in. I don't think anybody is fresh for today. This ball game starting at 11 a.m. because Richard Klein is getting married later today.
Congratulations, Richard.
And that's why he's not with the team. Somehow, I don't think that his wife would have allowed that, or his fiance.
Could get married at the ballpark.
Yeah, right, Ivan Rodriguez style. There's a pitch taken low and outside, 2 balls and a strike.
Siegler having a good season at the plate so far, batting over 300. 421 on-base percentage. Tied for the team lead with 22 runs.
Yeah,
also 17 RBIs.
Yeah, he's seemingly in the middle of all the Disciples rallies. The 2-1, a slow chopper to the right side. Nilsson gets it on a short hop and flips it to first in time. And the inning is over. No runs, 1 hit. No errors and 1 left. It's been identical the first 3 innings for the Disciples. They've stranded a runner in each of the first 3. We go to the 4th inning, no score here in Haar. This is Haar Disciples Baseball präsentiert von dem Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. We move to the top of the 4th inning here in Haar. No score. Tim Collins and Rick Royston joining you. It is currently 2 minutes after 12 noon here in Haar. No score in the ballgame between the Heideköpfe and the Haar Disciples. And for the Heideköpfe, Jay Pecci, Gary Owens, and Mitch Nilsson, 2, 3, and 4, against Michael Click, who has been great. Only 1 base runner allowed through the first 3. Jay Pecci, his first time, pops back to the mound.
Some enthusiastic fans here.
Always
some noise.
That's always the case with Heidenheim. The pitch is high, ball 1.
Jay Pecci batting 350, 438 on base percentage. Just one part of this dangerous Heidenheim lineup.
There's a strike, 1 ball and 1 strike. Click is working much more quickly today than he has in the past. I know I've mentioned that about 3 times already. But this game in the 4th inning, and we started at about 11:15. Curve, that one is high, 2 and 1. Click has been fantastic since coming over from Italy. He was in Italy the early part of the year in Padova. 2 and 1 to Pecci, the pitch on the way. A ground ball to the second baseman, Lechner, to his left, gloves it, flips it to first in time for the first out. And that will bring up Gary Owens, the only man to reach base so far for the Heideköpfe.
Which is not atypical. Gary having his typical monster season.
Yeah, 10 homers.
10 home runs, 44 runs batted in. Batting .462. Getting on base at a .517 clip, so more than half of his at-bats end up with him on on the base path.
And a lot of them end up with him circling the entire base path. One out, nobody on. And the pitch. Breaking ball tapped weakly up the third baseline, foul. The shortstop, Miguel Pinheiro, is playing over towards the hole.
Sort of a semi-shift for Gary.
Yeah, if you take a look at the defensive alignment, the outfield is deep and straight away. Owens hits the ball in the outfield all over the place. But they're expecting him to pull a ground ball. One strike to count to him, one out. Nobody on. The pitch. Check swing on a high fastball. He did not go. One ball and one strike. Michael Click, in his last 5 starts, has pitched 9 innings, 8 innings, 9 innings. And he has allowed a grand total of 2 runs. There's a chopper on the ground to short. To his left, Pinheiro gloves and throws to first in time. 2 down.
Always a win when you can get Gary Owens out.
Owens hustling down the line as Mitch Nilsson is going to step up to the plate. Nilsson 0 for 1. He flied out to left field his first time. Yeah, Click. His first start was on April the 28th against Ulm. He pitched 5 innings in that game, struck out 11. He then struck out 13 Buchbinder Legionnaire, and then 7 more Legionnaire in a relief appearance in which he actually got the loss. He gave up a walk-off home run to Matt Vance in that ball game. Mitch Nilsson up there squaring to bunt, takes a strike fastball, letter high over the inside corner.
Extremely dangerous hitter, Mr.
Yeah,
Nilsson.
Nilsson had 3 runs batted in yesterday.
Yeah, he's batting .493.
0-1.
157 on base plus slugging percentage.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. 0-2 is the pitch of the strike.
Not far behind Gary with 9 home runs.
No balls and 2 strikes on Mitch Nilsson. With 2 outs and nobody on in the 4th. No score in the game. Click's pitch. Breaking ball. That one is inside. Almost got him on the front leg.
Clipped him.
And Mike Click, here are the strikeout totals since May 26th versus Stuttgart 12, versus Ulm 16, versus Mannheim 12, versus Mainz 14, versus Saarlouis 16. So he's done 16 twice. Got 3 today. The pitch fouled away, and Nilsson had a good cut. That was a fastball that was up. Nilsson likes to try to pull the ball. Mitch in his 2nd year with the Heidenheim Heideköpfe. Of course, he's a staple with the Brisbane Bandits, who have won the championship in Australia the last couple of years. There's a big Heidenheim connection there, as Justin Erasmus was also with the team. The pitch. Breaking ball, lifted foul, out of play off to the left, and it's still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ryan Bollinger pitched for the Bandits. Donald Lutz played for the Brisbane Bandits.
Yeah, just a regular baseball factory down there.
And a strong connection to Germany as well. 1 ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on base. Michael Click ahead of Mitch Nilsson, no score. We're in the 4th. And now the pitch. A fly ball to right field. This is going to land in front of Darren Fisher. Mitch Nilsson has a single with 2 outs. It was jammed on the pitch. Let's take a look at that again. It was a fastball from Click. You see Thorpe setting up inside on the hands of Mitch Nilsson. Might have been a cutter, and it tailed just enough in to get away from the barrel of the bat. Nilsson has a very short, quick stroke through the zone. And he is on first base with 2 outs for Simon Göring. 2nd hit, 2nd base runner for the Heideköpfe here in the 4th inning. Simon flied out his first time. Nilsson on first base. No score, we're in the top of the 4th. 2 outs, the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 1. It is rare to see Simon Göring, first of all, expand the strike zone and chase a pitch like he just did, but it's even almost more rare to see him swing and miss. He almost always makes contact.
Yeah, also unbelievable hitting stats with 487 batting average and 580 on base percentage.
Yeah, and only 3 strikeouts all year. How many at-bats has he had?
That's 78 at-bats.
And 3 strikeouts. 0-1 to Goering. And the pitch. Curve, line drive over the leaping Ziegler, base hit down the right field line. Nilsson turns and heads towards third. Pitcher comes up throwing. It's a base hit for Goering, first to third for the Heideköpfe. So a 2-out rally. Take a look at this pitch. It was away from Goering, and
nice opposite field hit.
I think it was a slider. Let's look on the replay. Yes, it was. It was some kind of a slider or a breaking pitch, and it was away, and Goering just hit it off the end of the bat and floated it over at Ziegler's head down the right field line. And so now Ludwig Glaser, who struck out looking on a pitch that he disagreed with in the second inning. He's 0 for 1. As Michael Click kicking at the dirt on the mound.
Yeah, Glaser hitting 388. So as a team, Heideköpfe is batting 348.
Yeah,
so very dangerous. Very dangerous.
They have over 100. They have over 100 runs scored, right? And that is now 28 games.
Yep. 250 runs scored.
250. Wow. First and third. The pitch to Glaser is rolled slowly to the left side. Charging on it is Thomas. He throws on the run, and Ziegler kept his foot on the bag,
nice
and the out is completed. So the ground ball gets the Disciples out of the inning. No runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base. As we take another look at this last play, Glaser jammed on the pitch and grounds out 5-3. Nice play by Nathan Thomas. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning here in Haar. This is Haar Disciples baseball präsentiert vom Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. No score in the game. Moving to the bottom of the 4th inning, no score here in the ball game between the Heideköpfe and the Disciples. The Disciples won last night's game by a score of 7-5, and R.J. Hively back on the mound. He's thrown 40 pitches, 27 of which have been strikes, 3 hits allowed, but nothing else. He's got 3 strikeouts as well, and he will face 4, 5, and 6, the middle of the order. Will Thorpe, Darren Fisher, and Simon Lechner. And Hively's pitch is popped along the right field line. A long run for Sean Larry crossing into foul ground. He cannot get there. The ball lands in the Heideköpfe bullpen area. Strike 1 on Thorpe, who struck out his first time. Well, both teams have stranded 3 base runners. 3 measly old singles for each side. So this one is resting squarely on the shoulders of the starting pitchers for each team as R.J. Hively rocks back and forth on the mound, gets his sign from Simon Goering. 1 strike pitch to Thorpe. Hit on the ground up the middle. Nilsson to his right, backhands from behind second, throws to first, and it's not in time. Thorpe beats it out.
Good hustle by Will Thorpe down the line. Good speed for a catcher.
Yeah, Thorpe is a good base runner. That ball was just rolling. It was kind of a worm burner by the time it got to Nilsson behind second base, who planted and fielded it on the backhand. His throw to first was on the money, but a little bit late, and Thorpe beats it out for a single. That is the 4th single the Disciples have. And that'll bring up Darren Fisher, who himself had a single in his first at-bat.
Yeah, Fisher in limited at-bats is batting over 500.
Yeah, he started the season as the Disciples' second game starting pitcher. Now he's still been pitching. He could pitch in this game if needed, and he squares the bunt, and the pitch nearly hit him. That was another case of accidental bunting, this one going foul. The ball was almost going to hit Fisher. So that happened to Simon Lechner a couple innings ago. Pitch was right at him, and Fisher was not exactly pleased about that.
Who would be?
Well, Hively has not been wild in this game. He does not have any walks. Thorpe is on first base.
Yeah, Howley's not been wild for the season. Only walked 11 or 16 batters against 69 strikeouts.
The pitch is outside as Fisher again squaring 1 ball and 1 strike. William Thorpe on first base. He beat out an infield single. There's nobody out. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Thorpe extends his lead as Hively comes set. Fisher still squaring, and he bunts through it. That's strike 2. That was a breaking pitch. Yesterday, Fisher was up in the 9th inning with 2 on, and he was squaring around on every single pitch until the count finally went to 3 balls and a strike. They took the bunt off, and he singled. Now he's got a 1 ball and 2 strike count, so the bunt will not be on. And Hively's pitch swung on and missed as Fisher could not hold up.
Fooled on that pitch. Weak swing. Tried to check his swing, but was not able to.
Good slider down and away. Well located. And that is the 4th strikeout for R.J. Hively. And that'll bring up Simon Lechner. Lechner, who has a sacrifice, but it was also self-defense. He was nearly drilled in the gut by that pitch that he ended up bunting right to Jay Petchy at 3rd. Thorpe on first base. And the pitch. There's a fastball strike, 0-1. Thorpe on first, 1 out. You see Gary Owens beginning to enter your picture in center field. R.J. Hively, the right-hander, comes set. 0-1 on Simon Lechner. The pitch outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Just gorgeous weather.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Can't complain. The beer gardens will be full here in Munich today, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I can't complain about the early start time. That leaves all the time. Plenty of sunshine left for the beer garden after the game. There goes the runner. The pitch is grounded foul. Strike 2. And Thorpe will have to go back. The Disciples trying to hit and run.
Another fading art, or at least fading strategy in Major League Baseball, at least.
Hit and run.
Because the game is changing. I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
It just is. That's all we know. 1 and 2. Hively comes set. Thorpe was going on the last pitch. He's not going on this one, which is chopped foul at the plate again, and Lechner stays alive. Lechner will give you a tough at bat. He doesn't have a high batting average, but he draws walks.
Yeah, only batting 160, but 364 on base percentage. So
in yesterday's game, he had a walk and a hit in 5 plate appearances. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. There is 1 out. William Thorpe is the runner on first base, being held on by Ludwig Glaser. Lutz, Owens, and Larry in the outfield. Petchy, Schultz, and Nilsson, the rest of the infield. And the 1-2. Grounded weakly up the first baseline. Foul again. Lechner choking up on the bat, trying to just poke. Kind of a punch and Judy hitter.
Exactly. So move the runner along. And of course, try to get on base yourself.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Hively now a little bit more deliberate. He gets his sign from Goering and comes set. Thorpe leading off first, a very short lead. He's not going. The pitch, breaking ball, fouled at the plate. And that looked like it got Simon in his leg.
Yeah, it looked like it went off his foot or his lower leg.
And Simon Lechner has had a lot of issues with his leg and feet as we watch him go down on that foul ball. He's hobbling. Earlier in the year, he wasn't playing. He had a severe leg injury, was walking around on crutches for a while. That foul ball got him squarely on the right foot. And Philip Howard goes on to check on him. That's also Basti Kopets, who's coaching down the first base line.
He's going to get back in there.
So Lechner, yep, he's going to get back in there and try to gut it out. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He's fouled off 4 consecutive pitches. Is that how many?
I believe so, yeah.
I don't keep track of foul balls in my scorebook.
Staying alive. Good at bat so far. Let's see if it will bring some results.
Hively comes set. Thorpe off first. There is 1 out in the inning. 1 and 2 the count to Simon Lechner. The pitch. A chopper again foul. And that's really frustrating for somebody like Hively. Lechner hasn't hit the ball more than 30 feet, but he's just
staying alive.
Being very, very pesky right now. If you're Hively in the Heideköpfe.
Not Johnny Pesky.
Lästig. That's the word off Deutsch. Thank you, Helgard, for giving me that one a couple years ago. Pitch is low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's 5 fouls in this at bat.
Johnny Pesky, good hitting shortstop for the Boston Red Sox.
Pesky pole down the right field line in Fenway.
Yeah.
There goes Thorpe. The pitch, line drive right field. That's a base hit. Thorpe had to make sure it drops in, but he's going to go all the way to third. And what an at bat from Simon Lechner. First and third for the Disciples.
Battling. Hurting himself, but effective in the end. Nice poke into right field.
And it was a hanging breaking ball, I think, from R.J. Hively. Let's take a look at the pitch on the replay. That was a little slider, maybe a cut fastball. And Lechner, after all those foul balls, finally got one he could get the barrel of the bat to. And he lined it to right field. No chance for Larry to come charging in and grab it. Thorpe stopped for a split second as he got to second base. He wanted to be absolutely sure the ball would land in, and he did. And once it did, he had no problem making it to third base. So now the Disciples with a real scoring chance. They have first and third with 1 out. Miguel Pinheiro, who struck out on 3 pitches against R.J. Hively his first time. No score. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Watch out for the squeeze here. Thorpe dancing off third base and Hively going from the stretch. The Disciples executed a safety squeeze in yesterday's game. Simon Lechner laid down a beautiful bunt. That was in the 9th inning. Thorpe is at third. Lechner is at first. Pinheiro choking up, and he squares, and he bunts through it. And it's a good thing it wasn't the suicide squeeze. The Disciples are playing like extreme small ball.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to see.
Well, they kind of have to. There's not really much firepower in the lower part of their lineup.
Great opportunity here.
Miguel, normally a guy that's good for contact. It is rare that he seems completely overmatched in an at-bat. 1 strike the count. First and third. Lechner with a reasonable lead off of first base as Hively comes set. Thorpe gets a moving start and a pickoff play on third, and Thorpe dives back. As Pecci and Thorpe, a little joking move there as Jay Pecci came up laughing a little bit. But that was the step to third move. You know, it's no longer legal for the pitcher to step to third and fake. If he does that, it's a balk. It's like throwing to first now.
Okay.
Well, what are the Disciples going to do here? First and third, 1 strike on Pinheiro. And he slaps it foul. He was not squaring. He was swinging away. They played it straight up. He fouled it off, and now it's no balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Thorpe getting kind of a jogging, running lead off third base. Ready to run.
Well, the Heideköpfe, they know that this is part of the Disciples' game plan, especially at this part of the batting order. They pulled it off successfully yesterday. Pinheiro 0-2. The pitch. Breaking ball hit on the ground to the shortstop. This might be a double play. Flip to short for one. The throw to first is in time. A double play, and the run does not score. Turned by Schultz to Nilsson to Glaser, and R.J. Hively pitches his way out of the first and third jam. 6-4-3 goes the double play, and the Disciples don't score. No runs, two hits, no errors, and one left on base. At the end of 4 complete here in Haar. No score between the Heideköpfe and the Haar Disciples. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, präsentiert von dem
Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD.
Thank you, Rick. We are back. Tim Collins and Rick Royston with you here in Haar. It is scoreless as we go to the top of the 5th. Michael Click back on the mound. He's pitched 4 innings, given up 3 hits, struck out 3, 54 pitches, and he's going to face 7, 8, 9, Sean Larry, Johannes Krum, and Philip Schultz.
Everything seems to be clicking for Michael at the moment.
You could say that.
I could say that, and I did, unfortunately.
That pitch is low. Ball 1.
Click with a 1.2 ERA. Only a .76 whip. So
he's
walks and hitters per innings pitched.
Yeah, 100 plus strikeouts and 11 walks, I believe.
Exactly.
There's a swing and a miss. Strike 1 on Larry. 1 ball, 1 strike on the breaking ball as Larry gets no piece of that.
Yeah, 104 strikeouts now with the 3 today.
He pitched out of a first and third with 2-out situation by getting Ludwig Glaser to ground out to Nate Thomas on 1 pitch. Last inning, Sean Larry takes a fastball high, 2-1 the count now. Hope you're enjoying your day wherever you are. If you're on the road, listening on Mind Sport Radio, or if you're watching on YouTube. The highlights, by the way, from last night's game and today's game will go up on YouTube later today. I apologize for my lack
laziness.
Of punctuality. I got home at 2:30 in the morning last night and didn't really feel like making highlights. 2-1, here's the pitch. Popped foul out of play, 2-2 the count. I did, however, listen to a little bit of the Yankees Red Sox. Thank you, Tom Wolf, by the way, for no reason.
No reason at all.
You didn't hear that, everybody. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
When in Bavaria.
When in Bavaria, party like the Bavarians do. It's a beautiful day. 2-2 on Sean Larry, and the pitch from Click. Hit hard up the middle. That's a base hit. No second baseman anywhere in sight. And Larry will be at first base with a single.
They were playing him towards the line, so second baseman not in a position to make that play.
Yeah, the second baseman was playing in short right field. That would have been right at Lechner if he were in normal position. So a leadoff single. That's the first leadoff base runner for the Heideköpfe in this game, as Johannes Krum will come up. And Will Thorpe out on the mound having a chat with Click.
Yeah, interesting the way the game is changing, just to fill the gap in action. The Major League game, at least. With the nearly every reliever throwing 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Starting pitchers not going more than 5-6 innings.
I mean, a large part of it is also hitters have just really learned to swing it. Pitches only in the zone. The pitch to Crum is a strike. It used to be, you know, nobody liked it. Nobody cared how much you walked. They just wanted to see the batting average, and now teams are valuing guys that get on base a lot, which means hitters are incentivized, and very, very literally so, because hitters that have high OBP and high batting average get the big contract with big money.
Yep.
As Crum slaps one foul the other way, strike two. And so the game is just developing in that direction.
Well, the whole sabermetrics and analytics part of the game is, I mean, they can analyze every aspect of the game now. Spin rates, launch angle. It's incredible the amount of data that they have available to them.
2 strikes to Johannes Crum. Runner on first base is Sean Larry. He singled. Click is ready. And the 0-2. Hit on the ground to second. This could be 2. Lechner flips to short. Pinero's return to first. Double play, 4-6-3.
Nice turn.
As the Disciples return the favor. Ball not hit very hard.
But on 2 bounces. Right to the second baseman.
Yeah, this time Lechner was not in short right field. So 2 outs and nobody on for Philip Schultz. By the way, in the YouTube chat, there's a couple of loyal followers who are having a friendly chat about what ways can they support us in the broadcast. I've had this in the works for a while. I haven't rolled it out yet, but I'm working on T-shirts. I did have I had one design made. Rick, I got to show it to you, and I'll tell you guys about it, and you can tell me if you think it's horrible. Here's the pitch to Philip Schultz, swing and a miss, strike 1. I purchased some custom artwork. It is a taco holding a baseball bat.
A taco with a baseball bat.
Yes,
Okay.
a taco with a baseball bat.
Actually, you could just use the graphic
on a T-shirt.
we have of
pitches inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
us 2 in the booth.
Although somebody suggested a Tim bobblehead. That actually is kind of a funny idea.
That's a scary idea.
Yeah, that's a scary idea.
1 bobbly head of Tim is enough.
The good thing is that all bobbleheads kind of look the same, so you could also tell people it's a Mickey Mantle bobblehead if you wanted. The 1-1 is a beautiful curveball that drops in for a strike 1 and 2.
That was a sweet pitch.
And yes, Helgard, if I do come out with T-shirts, there will be all sizes, women's sizes, men's sizes, baby sizes. Thanks to Amazon, everything is possible. 1 ball and 2 strikes to pitch. A ground ball to the second baseman, Lechner, who charges in gloves and tosses to first. And thanks to the double play, it's a 3-up, 3-down inning. Leadoff single is erased. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left. We go to the bottom of the 5th. A pitcher's duel here in Haar. No score. This is Haar Disciples Baseball. Präsentiert von dem Gesundheitsunternehmen
MSD.
We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. And R.J. Hively is going to deal with 8, 9, and 1. David Wallace, Bernd Radovic, and Luke Steinlein. No score in the bottom of the 5th between Heidenheim and Haar. The pitch to Wallace. Fastball just missed the outside corner. Nothing in 1 ball, no strikes. Wallace struck out his first time. Getting back to the subject of a taco baseball themed T-shirt.
How is the taco relevant?
It's not. There's a ground ball to the left side, gloved by Pecci, who turns and fires. 5-3 on the putout, 1 down. That'll bring up Bernd Radovic.
Maybe a bratwurst or a sausage.
Actually, I thought of that too. But
or the
that would
baseball bet.
I mean, if somebody knows someone who does graphic design and is a German person who loves baseball, like I thought it would be cool to maybe design a T-shirt that had something that relates both Germany and baseball. But I didn't want to just make a T-shirt that says like Euro Baseball TV, because I don't know, that's too easy. Bernd Radovic with a bouncing ball at the middle. Schultz charges in front of the bag and lobs it to first. Very quickly, 2 down. And now Luke Steinlein will come up. Only 3 pitches this inning for Hively.
Yeah, very efficient.
You got any T-shirt suggestions, Rick?
I'm thinking.
Well, as long as we can hear you thinking.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Did you say thinking or drinking?
Yes, to both.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe something with Blau-Weiß.
Blau-Weiß, yeah, right. Yeah, Bavaria. I thought about that. Bavarian colors. I thought about that too.
That means we'll have to do the broadcast in Bavarian.
We had to get Schwartz back on here. Pitches a strike to Luke Steinlein. There are all sorts of very strange bugs flying and landing on my scorebook. Swatted away.
You seem to be attracting them.
Yeah.
Did you shower this morning, Tim?
Well, yes, at 3 this morning when I got back. 1 ball and 1 strike. Luke Steinlein is 0 for 2. He's 0 for his last 7, going back to yesterday. But he got the save in yesterday's game. There's a chopper right back to Hively. And he flips it underhanded to Glaser at first. And that will do it for the Disciples here in the 6th. Nothing across the board for them. Excuse me, that was the 5th inning. Yes, I skipped a line in my scorebook. That's great. So we go to the 6th inning now, and we are scoreless. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, präsentiert von dem Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. We go to the top of the 6th inning. Still scoreless here in Haar. No runs, 4 hits for the Heideköpfe, no runs, 5 hits for the Disciples. Michael Click has struck out 3 and walked none. He's been great. He's working a little bit more quickly than he has in the past. And he's going to face the top of the order, Lutz, Pecci, and Owen. Lutz is 0 for 2. And the first pitch is grounded foul into the Heideköpfe dugout. Strike one on Sasha Lutz. Sasha, of course, celebrates his birthday a couple days before Halloween. He was born 1983, so he's 35 years of age. From Friedberg, obviously the older brother of Donald Lutz. And the 0-1. Check swing on a pitch down and in, 1 ball and 1 strike. Lutz debuted in the Bundesliga in 1999. They were using metal bats back then.
Wow.
At the age of 15 with the Friedberg Braves. He's played for the First Pirates. He's played for the Mainz Athletics, where he actually won the championship in 2007 as he takes the ball inside, 2-1. He batted .456 back in 2007 for that Mainz Athletics championship team.
That's very good.
Very good. Sasha Lutz, very good. I guess I could sum up everything I'm saying by just saying Sasha Lutz, very good. The 2-1, that's outside. And that's the first pitch that I've seen Click sort of fall awkwardly off the mound. Sasha's brother, of course. All the German fans know, but in case you're new to the broadcast, his brother Donald was the first German Bundesliga-trained baseball player to play in the major leagues. Spent a couple years with the Cincinnati Reds, and he's now a coach in the Reds organization. He's a hitting coach. Lutz swung and missed, and the count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Michael Click comes set, the pitch. Low ball 4, and that's the first walk issued by either pitcher in the ballgame. And that's going to bring up Jay Pecci.
No relation to Joe.
Well, the name is not spelled the same, Rick. Nice try, Rick. Nice try.
Do I amuse you?
What, do you think that's funny?
Take a short trip through Joe Pesci filmography.
Any baseball films in there?
I don't know. Can't think of one off the top of my head.
Sasha Lutz is on first base. There's nobody out. Sorry, Rick.
As fun as we watch these Utes play.
The Utes. Lutz on first base. He might be going. You never know. Click. Lifts the leg and deals. Pecci showed bunt. Thorpe throws behind the runner and he dives back. The pitch was high for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes.
I'm beginning to dislike these noisemakers from the Heidenheim fans.
Well, when you're sitting 2 feet away from it.
I hope that's not too
you don't have the headphones on. I got the headphones, so I got the double. I got the microphone feed as well in my ear, so it's like it's inside my head. But I hear noise in my head all the time anyway.
That's a lonely place, I hear.
This drowns out those other noises. Pecci is squaring. Thomas creeping up and a throw to first base, and Lutz is back. 1 ball and no strikes to count. We are scoreless in the top of the 6th inning. There's nobody out. Sasha Lutz is on first base. Another good game. These two teams have, with the exception of the first game of the year, which Heidenheim won 10-3, they've been nail biters. 1 ball, no strikes. Pecci squaring around again. And Click's pitch. He pulls it back, and the breaking ball is high and outside, 2-0. And so now, as Pecci thinking about the Butcher Boy play, where you show bunt, pull it back, and then just sort of slap at the ball. But Thomas, the third baseman, was not full-on charging. A lot of cat and mouse going on between these two teams. Lots of bunting, some hit and runs. Yesterday, the Heideköpfe pulled off a double steal. Lutz, so far, has stayed put at first. And now the pitch. He bunts it right to Thomas, who is going to throw to first base in time. He thought about going to second, but then thought the wiser of it, and Pecci is out. Lutz moves to second. Take a look at this on the replay. As Gary Owens comes up, that ball was way outside. Pecci bunted it ball 3. But Thomas, you know, somebody was yelling 2-2-2, and Thomas thought about it, and that almost took him out of the play for a moment. Because that moment of indecision could cost you. But now Gary Owens 1 for 2. Looks with good speed on second base. Click now a little bit more deliberate. Now he's got a sign he likes. Owens waiting patiently without batting gloves. Open stance from the right side. And the pitch. Fastball, strike at the letters. Owens does not like the pitch in that zone. He's a low ball hitter. He's got a very big hitch in his swing. Extremely quick wrists. Really can power the ball to all fields. And that's the book on him. If you got enough heat on that fastball, you want to try to go up the ladder on him. Thorpe setting up inside, 1 strike to count, looks off second base. There's 1 out in the inning, no score. The pitch, swing and a miss, another high fastball, 0-2. And I have to guess that we're going to see one more pitch like that. I don't think you're going to see anything other than fastballs up in the zone right now. Possibly a little bit higher up out of the zone. See if Owens will chase it. No balls and 2 strikes. Click is set. There's the 0-2 pitch. Struck him out, another high fastball.
Good call, Tim.
So there are 2 down. And that is the 4th strikeout for Michael Click. And now Mitch Nilsson, 1 for 2, will come up to the plate. And see Thorpe setting the target up low just in case Lutz is giving the location. And the pitch right to the mitt, perfectly located. Boy, Click really hitting his spot on that one, and he got it past Owens. And so now Mitch Nilsson. Nilsson, who had 3 runs batted in yesterday, has a chance for 1 here. 2 down. A scoreless game in the top of the 6th. Michael Click, the right-hander, comes set. And the first pitch to Nilsson is popped up behind the plate. Thorpe removes the mask, but that ball is going to be over everything. And
ball's behind us.
Yeah, it went way behind us. I can't see it. It goes up above the tent. And I just watched the reactions of the fans, and basically everybody just covering their heads. Because you never know what's going to happen when the ball hits the tree. It's like Plinko coming down.
Yeah.
I'm just missing Bob Barker. That could be you.
That could be me. I could be Bob Barker.
The price is wrong. 1 strike on Mitch Nilsson.
Need Happy Gilmore here.
Well, there's one of the best ways to silence the crowd is to have a pop-up that everybody in the audience is worried that they're going to get hit by. But they have now refound their energy. 1 strike on Nilsson with 2 outs. Slasha Lutz is on second base. No score in the 6th. Michael Click comes set. And the pitch. Breaking ball and a beauty. Strike 2. Again,
beautiful curve.
The second baseman, Simon Lechner, is in short right field. So if Nilsson hits a little roller to the right side, I mean, that could be a run. Lutz with 2 outs. It's going to be off at the crack of the bat. He's not getting a huge lead from second, though, because the shortstop, Pinheiro, is playing Nilsson up the middle. He's not too far behind him.
There's sort of a mini shift on for Nilsson.
They did that last night, too. 0-2 the count. Click way out in front. And the pitch. He got him swinging on a high fastball.
Click,
Michael Click.
Excited about that. Giving a good fist pump.
And Click going up the ladder with the high heat. He got Gary Owens swinging, and he gets Mitch Nilsson with Sasha Lutz on second base. This ball game remains scoreless. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 left on base. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Don't touch that dial, folks. This is Haar Disciples Baseball präsentiert vom Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. To the bottom of the 6th inning. No score between the Heidenheim Heideköpfe and the Haar Disciples. RJ Hively back out there, and the bunt attempt.
It's kind of a half drag bunt attempt by Gary Owens. I'm not sure what he was doing there.
That was
kind of bunt with one hand.
Nate-Sean Thomas, letting go of the bat.
Sorry.
He bunted it foul for strike 1. And the ball was still by the backstop, and Basti Kopets, the first base coach, runs off to go get it. We've got a pitcher's duel in this one. Neither team really too many scoring opportunities. The Heideköpfe had first and third with 2 outs in the 4th and couldn't score. They also had a runner on second base with 1 out last inning. Pitches inside, 1 ball, 1 strike to Nate Thomas.
Yeah, not much solid contact by either team. Been some hits, of course, but nothing really hit with authority.
1-1 pitch to Thomas. Swing and a miss. He was going for the downs on that one. One ball and 2 strikes. Here it comes. Inside, 2-2. There's some chat in the YouTube chat about where do the Disciples find these good pitchers. Last year, Ryan Bollinger. This year, Michael Click. And actually, I think a lot of it has to do with just a network of people that know each other.
Yeah, it's a small baseball world.
Especially in Europe, I mean, same thing with Heidenheim. There's that connection we talked about between the Brisbane Bandits and also many other leagues. Michael Click did also play in Australia. I think he played in the State League. Yeah. I mean, Bollinger, Mitch Stefan batted against Ryan Bollinger. That's how they found him. He was like, this guy's nasty. We need to sign him. There's a tapper off of Thomas's foot. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Munich is an attractive place to come for many players.
For any person.
For any
honestly.
person.
Voted #1 city,
#1
livable in the world.
Most livable city, yes. And very happy to be here.
Yeah, it's a beautiful city. Great quality of life.
Good beer.
Nature. The 2-2 pitch to Thomas is low. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Mountains, beer gardens, lakes, everything you need.
And good public transportation and bike paths. The bike paths. That's kind of the cherry on top for me is the baseball, honestly. 3 balls and 2 strikes. To Nate-Sean Thomas, leading off the 6th. Hively's pitch. Bouncing ball pulled. Fair down the right field line. Inside the bag. Thomas off to the races. He's heading to second base. And he is going to stop there with a leadoff double. And he pulls up a little ginger at second base. He's bending his knee. You wonder if he might have tweaked a hamstring or something.
No,
Basti Kopets going to go talk to him.
It looked like as he was rounding first, he kind of touched the bag awkwardly, kind of twisted his ankle, I think. It looked like he was going around first base.
Well, that ball went right over the first base bag. It's the 2nd hit in the game for Nate Thomas. He's got a single and a double and a little bloop liner. Yeah. Philip Howard chatting with him on second, and he's okay, it looks like.
Yeah, he was kind of rounded first awkwardly, and with his inside leg, his left leg, kind of hit the base a bit at an angle.
He might have jammed his knee a little bit.
Yeah.
He's hopping up and down, but he's going to stay in there. It's going to take a lot to get him out of the game. The Disciples have virtually no bench, as they've had all year. They only have 3 people in the reserves. So now Chris Ziegler, a chance to give the Disciples the lead. Thomas, good speed on second base. The fastball from Hively is high for ball 1. Ziegler is 0 for 2 today. Wearing the number 2. Normally he's wearing number 27, but his uniform is a little dirty from last night. Outfield is swung way around to the right. The pitch. Outside and high, 2-0. Hively, by the way, through 5 innings, 6 hits now, 4 strikeouts. He's hit 74 pitches. Michael Click, 81 pitches through 6. No score in the game. We are in the bottom of the 6th inning, final day of the season. Game number 28. 2 balls and no strikes. The count. And a pickoff play on Thomas, and he's out! No. Thomas is very upset.
Yeah, and he should be because his hand was on the base when the tag was made. Of course, there's no replay here.
And you're not going to be able to see it very much. He was dancing around. That was a timing play. And Heively comes set. He knew that the play was on. He looks towards home plate. And then he whirls and fires as the shortstop Schultz runs in behind Thomas. And Dandy Baco was there. He was ready for it, made the call. It was bang, bang.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, his hand was clearly on the bag when the tag was made. But, of course, I'm not the umpire. And there is no replay.
And it's a huge play in the ball game. As now, instead of a leadoff double, now there's nobody on with one out. The count is 2 balls and no strikes on Christoph Ziegler. And we're in the bottom of the 6th inning. No score in the game, but plays like that, everything's very important now.
Yeah, Nate-Sean Thomas audibly upset in the dugout, as he should be.
And the pitch, tapped foul, 2 balls and 1 strike.
On such things, the game turns.
Yep. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Now, if Ziegler manages a hit here, it'll be doubly frustrating for the Haar Disciples.
Ziegler, a left-hand hitter, open stance. Heively's pitch is popped foul out of play. The count now even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. I think it's a couple of wind-ups from the Ratchets.
The annoying Ratchet sounds like a swarm of locusts descending upon Haar Field.
Tell us who you're rooting for, Rick.
I'm rooting against the Heidenheim noisemakers is what I'm rooting against.
I like it. Yeah, you just invited that on yourself, by the way, Rick. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I think I'm going deaf, but
what?
Enjoying the ball game.
I couldn't hear that. What'd you say? 2-2 pitch.
Uh-oh.
Inside. Yo,
they're bringing out the weapons of mass destruction. Yeah, that is the Heidenheim fans.
That is a huge Ratchet. Hold that thing up so we can see you in the center field camera again.
Yeah, can you hold that up for the center field camera?
That
there we
thing
go.
is huge.
That is devastating. I think I'm going to go home now.
They're saving that for the 9th inning, apparently. That one's for extra innings. Full count on Chris Ziegler. The pitch. A ground ball, weakly hit to the second baseman, Nilsson. And he fields and throws to first, 2 down.
Oh, my.
I'm going to turn the crowd mic down just a little bit on that one.
And the Heidenheim fans have come prepared.
I didn't know there's such thing as a base Ratchet.
They're ratcheting up their support.
Yeah. So 2 down, nobody on, and William Thorpe. Oh, it was a promising beginning to the inning for the Disciples. A leadoff double from Nate-Sean Thomas, and he was picked off second base. A very close play. He did not like the call.
So Will Thorpe wearing number 23. I believe his normal number is 34. Is that correct?
That is correct, but his uniform is also dirty from yesterday.
Yeah, 23, a good number.
Yeah, Don Mattingly, as we talk about every single time.
Ryan Sandberg, Michael Jordan.
This one goes through to the backstop, ball 1, first pitch low.
And my number for the Haar Disciples barbecue softball team.
All right, good. The pitch is a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. One ball, 1 strike to William Thorpe with 2 down. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning, no score in the game. It's going to probably come down to 1 swing or 1 pitch. And Thorpe swings and fouls it 1 and 2. And he's trying to get that 1 swing. You know, the Heidenheim fans usually have kazoos too, but there's no kazoos today.
No kazoos, but they do have a horn.
They used to have the kazoos that the kids would blow on before the pitch comes. Today it's just the Ratchets. Yeah.
And a horn.
Could be worse, somebody says in the chat. Could be vuvuzelas. That is true. That would be.
I always have my vuvuzela with me.
1 and 2, the pitch. Ground ball to the second baseman, Nilsson. Gets a nice easy hop and tosses to first. And the inning is over.
There's the horn.
1, 2, 3. Go the Disciples. No runs on 1 hit, but the pickoff leads to the 1, 2, 3 inning. At the end of 6, we're getting into the later innings now. No score as we go to the 7th inning. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, präsentiert vom Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. To the top of the 7th inning here in Haar, Simon Göring, Ludwig Glaser, and Sean Larry. 5, 6, and 7 in the order, due up for the Heideköpfe. No score in the game. Michael Click has thrown 81 pitches. 60 of them have been strikes. He's allowed 4 hits and 1 walk. He struck out 5. And RJ Hively has matched him. So now Simon Göring steps up. The wind picks up a little bit. It's blowing in.
Blowing in from left field.
And Michael Click from the stretch deals. Simon Göring squares and pulls it back. The pitch is in for a strike. Simon today is 1 for 2. He singled his last time up. That was with 2 outs, and it put runners on 1st and 3rd. But the Heideköpfe could not score as Ludwig Glaser grounded out to end the inning. The 1-0. A beautiful curve, but it's low. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, looked like a nice pitch, but no call from the ump.
1 ball, 1 strike to count. The 1-1 pitch. And that one is high and outside. 2 balls and a strike. Looked like Click took a little bit off that one.
Yeah, it was like a half changeup, half fastball.
A change ball.
A change ball, exactly.
The 2-1. Tapped on the ground slowly to short. Pinheiro gloves and fires to first in time to get the hustling Göring. 1 away.
We talked earlier about sabermetrics and analytics and how that's changing the game. So I'll be in Toronto in 2 weeks at a conference. We'll have a meet and greet with Billy Bean of Moneyball fame.
Oh, wow.
So I'll get to spend an hour with Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean.
Yeah.
It's not the same Mr.
Not
Bean.
the same Mr. Bean, but
if,
yeah,
if it were, you could have a very hilarious conversation without saying anything to him.
Should be interesting.
1 out. Ludwig Glaser 0 for 2. The pitch, breaking ball, and that is a beauty on the corner. Strike 1. Click has just been, he's been dominant the last month, I would say. The Disciples can never get him any runs. Another beautiful curve. Strike 2 to Glaser. He's working much more quickly today than he has in the past.
I think you mentioned that before.
Yeah, about 50 times, I know. 0-2. Fastball high. But even this inning compared to the last couple innings, I mean, he's getting the ball and throwing it. That's how you know he's feeling it.
Yep, he's in a groove.
Meister had to even tell him to slow down just there. Glaser steps in. Now Click has the sign. He comes set. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on. Now a bit of a longer pause, and the pitch. Hit on the ground to the right side. Picked by Ziegler to the glove side, and he runs it to the bag in time for out number 2. That's a nice play by Chris.
Very nice.
Glaser looked like he got a fastball away, and he hit it pretty hard, but Ziegler, who is normally a shortstop, has good hands. Picked it to his glove side. Take a look at the pitch. Fastball away. Ziegler sort of leaning out.
That was a difficult play by Ziegler, being right-handed. Kind of a backhand across his body to pick that.
Sean Larry now, the hitter. 1 ball, 1 for 2. He singled his last time. Struck out his first time. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Threw the fastball by him. Strike 1. Click has been able to dial up the strikeout pitches when he's needed it. Especially last inning, Sasha Lutz was on second base with 1 out, and he struck out Gary Owens and Mitch Nilsson. Both on high fastballs. There's a fly ball sliced down the left field line. A long run for Thomas. He can't quite get there. Boy, he made that close. It's a foul ball. Strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes. Somebody in the YouTube chat, Helgard, saying Michael Click is pitching quickly because he knows there's a wedding to get to after this game. Problem is, nobody has told the Disciples hitters that, though. Because it doesn't matter how well Click pitches. If they don't score, we might still be here for a while. 0-2 on Sean Larry. 2 down. We are in the bottom of the top of the 7th inning. And Click comes set. And Larry steps out.
The bottom of the top of the 7th inning.
Yep, that's what I said.
That's right.
If you don't like it, if you don't like it, you can go away.
We've got 2 outs, so it is the bottom of the top of the 7th.
0-2. Uh-oh. And he just missed a fastball on the outside half, and it tailed away. They appeal. He did not go. Thorpe was set up way outside. That's by design. That's a tough take for Larry. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One and 2. Here's the pitch. Popped up in the middle of the field, charging in Steinlein and also the second baseman Lechner, who cuts in front of him to make the catch. And the inning is over. A 1-2-3 inning for Michael Click. Nothing across the board for the Heidenheim Heideköpfe. 7 brilliant innings in the books so far for Click. But R.J. Hively is matching him. We've got goose eggs on the scoreboard. This is Haar Disciples baseball. And it's time to stretch. Rick, are we going to sing it on trombones?
Sure. Should we sing or do trombones or do
well,
falsetto?
We've done the singing. You do trombone, I do tuba. How's that?
Okay, let's try it.
All right, I'll turn the volume down so that it's not too painful. And here, wait. Ready? We go to the bottom of the 7th inning, and Ruben Manriquez is pinch hitting, and he swings at the first pitch and fouls it at the plate. Manriquez pinch hitting for Darren Fisher. R.J. Hively still on the mound. It is 5, 6, and 7 in the order. Manriquez, Lechner, and Pinheiro against R.J. Hively, who has thrown 81, now 82 pitches. And he's still throwing a shutout, as is Michael Click, his counterpart. We are scoreless in the bottom of the 7th.
Manriquez batting .289 with a .360 on base percentage. I don't have his stats as a pinch hitter.
And he fouls one. That was going to come right at me. Were there no net there? Thankfully, there is one, because that would have I would have had to make the diving play on that one. The Bill Buckner.
I would have saved
Curb
you,
Your
Tim.
Enthusiasm.
No problem.
I don't know how you. I don't see how you would have saved me from over there. You would have had to.
It would have been.
You would
right
have had to jump and
my
destroy my laptop in the process. There's a chopper foul, and the count still 0-2. Manriquez has swung at 3 breaking pitches. We are scoreless in the bottom of the 7th inning. Another nail-biter. Last night's game was right down to the wire. Luke Steinlein striking out Tristan Hurler with the tying runs on 2nd and 3rd to end the ball game on a foggy, humid Twilight Zone night in Heidenheim. 0-2, Hively's pitch. Fastball down the pipe, strike 3.
So you may have mentioned earlier in the broadcast, but with the win, Haar will clinch 2nd place.
That's right. For the first time, they have it. For the first time in their Bundesliga history, they have a chance to finish 2nd place. They finished 3rd last year for the first time in their history.
Climbing that ladder.
That's right. Simon Lechner now, as Manriquez was completely looking for something else. There's a ground ball to second, and Nilsson throws out Lechner. Very quickly, 2 away. No signs of any offense yet from the Disciples in this game. Last inning, they had a leadoff double from Nate-Sean Thomas, and he got picked off, and that killed the rally. And now 2 outs and nobody on for Miguel Pinheiro. Pinheiro was up with first and third and 1 out in the 4th. That's the other big opportunity that the Disciples had. And he grounded into an inning-ending double play. And he takes a ball low and outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Scoreless game, bottom of the 7th. About 1:15. The game started almost exactly 2 hours ago. The pitch is in there for a strike. Game started at 11:13, and it is now 1:13. So exactly 2 hours in, we're in the 7th inning. Good pace to this one.
Yeah,
Pitch is
definitely
low.
moving quickly.
2 balls and a strike. Both teams want to get out of here so they can enjoy the rest of this beautiful weather.
Exactly.
Heideköpfe.
Heideköpfe maybe going to a beer garden after this. Who knows?
A swing and a foul. That one getting a piece of Goering. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Pinheiro. Pinheiro, a native of Venezuela, came to Germany a couple of years ago, played with the Garching Atomics, and then joined Haar last year. He's been a useful piece. They can sort of put him in at shortstop. They put him in an outfield. Handles the bat pretty well. The pitch is low, and the count 3 balls and 2 strikes. He does not walk very often. In fact, if I remember, how many walks does he have this year? 1, Rick? You got the stats over there.
He has 5 walks.
He has 5.
5 walks in the season against 16 strikeouts.
That's more than he had last year. One of the important ones he got was in the game in which Haar rallied for 5 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning against Heidenheim. That was back on May 31st. 3 balls and 2 strikes. There are 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Hively's pitch. Breaking ball hit on the ground to short very slowly. It hugs the grass. Philip Schultz fields and fires and gets him. RJ Hively cruising right along. 1, 2, 3 go the Disciples here in the bottom of the 7th. We go to the 8th inning. It's getting late early here. No score between the Disciples and the Heideköpfe. This is Haar Disciples baseball.
Präsentiert von the Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD.
Yeah, that was good. We go to the top of the 8th inning and some defensive changes for the Disciples. Ruben Manriquez, who pinch hit for Darren Fisher, will stay in the game and play third base. Nate-Sean Thomas moves from third to center field. Luke Steinlein moves from center to right field. And that's it. The rest of the defensive alignment is the same. David Wallace in left, Will Thorpe the catcher, Pinheiro at short, Lechner at second, Siegler at first. On the mound, Mike Click. Michael Click has been great. 93 pitches, only 4 hits and 1 walk and 5 strikeouts. And he's going to deal with 8, 9, and 1. Johannes Krum, Philip Schultz, and Sasha Lutz. And in case you're wondering if this is new for Click that he doesn't get run support, the answer is no. In his last 4 starts, including this one, as the pitch is taken high, The Haar Disciples have scored a grand total of 4 runs for Click in his last 4 starts, including this one so far. And we're in the 8th inning now. No score. He lost one game 1-0. He won one game 1-0. There's a swing and a tapper foul. 1 ball, 1 strike on Chrome. And then he was looking up at a 1-0 score in Saarlouis last weekend, and the Disciples, with 2 outs in the 9th inning, finally rallied to score 3 runs after Saarlouis made a couple of errors and opened the door. But they have done very little to give Click any support, who has done as much as humanly possible to give them a chance to win. He's been great. Curve, and it is popped up. Manriquez shading his eyes from the sun, now called off by Pinheiro. The shortstop makes the catch for the first out.
Yeah, that's got to be frustrating for a pitcher. I mean, you give all you can, and you do your job, and you don't get any support from the bats.
On the flip side, the Disciples still have that feeling if they just score 1 run, they basically can win any game, because Click has dominated every team he's faced. Today he's gotten a lot of fly ball outs as Philip Schultz steps up. He's also been helped by a double play ball. The pitch is low inside to Schultz. Schultz is 0 for 2. He struck out and grounded out. Krum had been 0 for 2. Bounced into a double play his last time before that pop-up. Click in his last start pitched a 3-hitter against Saarlouis and almost got the loss. Were it not for that 9th inning rally. Breaking pitch, that's low. 2 balls and no strikes. When Click first came and pitched against the Ulm Falcons, Tim Williford was here, and he went and sat directly behind the home plate area and came back raving about the stuff of Mike Click. The fastball's high, 3 balls and no strikes on Schultz.
Well, and obviously he's carried that to the subsequent games. He's really put on a dominant performance today, especially against his dangerous Heidenheim Heideköpfe lineup.
Far and away the best offensive in the Bundesliga. Schultz takes the automatic 3-0 in there for a strike, 3-1. Don't want to walk the number 9 hitter, even if he is hitting 325 with 3 homers. And the 3-1. Strike 2, fastball. Click, not wasting any time. Gets right back on the mound, and he just fired another strike.
Working very quickly.
Yeah. He comes set. Payoff pitch with 1 out here in the 8th. Fouled to the screen. Schultz a pretty good hack at that one. Sasha Litz, the on-deck hitter, over to get that ball. We are in the top of the 8th inning, no score. If the Disciples can win this game, they will clinch 2nd place and overtake the Bookbinder Legionnaire. The pitch is swung on and missed for strike 3. And Click was down 3-0 in the count, came back to get Schultz with a high fastball. That is strikeout number 6 for Mr. Click, and there are 2 away. That is now 8 in a row set down after the walk to Sasha Litz in the 6th inning. And now Litz will come up with 2 outs in the 8th.
Click has really been effective with that high heat against some very dangerous hitters.
So Sasha Litz, who's 0 for 2 with the walk. Left-hand hitter with power. Just like last night, this ballgame could come down to 1 swing or 1 event. No score with 2 outs in the top of the 8th. The pitch. Breaking ball, fouled at the plate, strike 1. That was probably a hittable pitch.
It was a hittable pitch, but Click's curve, his breaking stuff, has been lights out. And combined with that high fastballs, very difficult for Heidenheim to get anything out, and they haven't.
You see that one, it was kind of in the middle of the zone. But when the hitters have that high fastball that Click has been going to in the back of their mind, that split second of indecision can make the difference between swing and a miss and not. 1 strike on Sasha Litz with 2 outs, nobody on. The pitch, fastball under the hands, just barely inside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Litz stands very close to the plate. He's a big guy. 1 ball and 1 strike on him. Click comes set, and the 30-year-old fires. Breaking ball swung on and missed. Nasty pitch from Click towards Lutz's back foot, and he was nowhere close to touching that one. Little smile on his face after he swung and missed at that.
Yeah, that was a beautiful pitch. And he's crowding the plate, challenging the pitcher.
1 ball, 2 strikes. There are 2 outs and nobody on base. We are in the top of the 8th inning. No score in the game. Another nail biter. Click comes set. 1 and 2. Here it comes. Check swing. He went around. Strike 3. Strikeout number 7 for Michael Click as he fooled Sasha Lutz again with the breaking ball. Take a look at this on the replay. It was called by Patrick Meister. And Lutz is sticking around to try to argue, but it looked to me like he went around.
Yeah, to me also.
And that is another 1-2-3 inning. That is now 9 in a row set down by Michael Click. And we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Still no score. Don't nobody go nowhere. We're coming back for the bottom of the 8th. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, präsentiert von dem Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. All right, it is time to start clenching your fists, ladies and gentlemen. Bottom of the 8th inning, no score. David Wallace, Bernd Radovic, and then the top of the order, Luke Steinlein against R.J. Hively, who's been great. 7 innings as the first pitch is a strike to Wallace. Wallace 0 for 2. Hively over the 7 innings, he's allowed 6 hits, 5 strikeouts, no walks. That's the important part. Yesterday, that was not the case, as the Heideköpfe pitchers had trouble throwing strikes. 1-1 pitch. Big chopper to third. Pecci gloves it and lobs across to get Wallace. 1 down. Pecci getting that ball on the first big bounce.
Yeah, nice short hop.
Well, Hively has now retired 6 in a row since the leadoff double in the 6th inning. Nate Sean Thomas was on second with nobody out, and he was picked off. And that, right now, was the back-breaking play for the Disciples. For the Heideköpfe, they have had 2 scoring opportunities. One in which they had runners on first and third with 2 outs, but could not capitalize as the pitch to... Is that Jan Tomek batting? That is Jan Tomek batting. So Tomek is pinch hitting for Radovic, and he's got 2 strikes. That's Jan Tomek batting. And the pitch, I don't think Tomek has batted yet this year. He's yesterday's pitcher.
Exactly, he's had 1 game played with no plate appearances.
1 ball, 2 strikes. I don't know when the last time he batted was. This is the depth of the Disciples bench. They're using yesterday's starting pitcher, and he didn't take the bat off his shoulders. And he goes down looking. Not sure what the point of that was, but there are 2 quick outs.
Interesting call.
I mean, it's the DH spot.
DH for the DH.
And Radovic, who had an important hit yesterday. I mean, why not just let him swing away unless he got hurt? So Tomek is the 2nd out of the inning. Now the top of the order for Luke Steinlein. Going to try to get on and start
rally.
something. Hively is cruising. Fastball. That's a ball a little bit high outside.
Both pitchers are just in a groove.
6 strikeouts now for R.J. Hively. He is at 98 pitches. And now 99, and that one is a strike. He looks like he's getting stronger as the game goes, to be quite honest.
He's really bringing the heat now.
He's working quickly. Everybody's in a groove, just waiting for some kind of blip to interrupt it for either side. There's a breaking ball. 2 balls and a strike. Pitching is as much about rhythm as jazz is. Take that and run, Rick.
Well, now the hitters need some rock and roll.
There's a 2-1. That one is inside, 3 balls and a strike.
3-1.
Sometimes you get on the mound, and I know that myself, I mean, I pitched in high school, never made it much higher than that, but when I thought about music, it actually helped me. Here's the 3-1. Swinging a foul tip, 3-2.
Well, as Gloria Estefan said, the rhythm is going to get you.
Right. Whether it gets you good or gets you bad, we don't know. Full count on Luke Steinlein, 2 outs, nobody on. Hively's pitch is swung on and missed. Strike 3, and we're going to go to the 9th inning scoreless. R.J. Hively is matching goose eggs with Michael Click, and we will be back for the 9th inning. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, präsentiert von dem Gesundheitsunternehmen MSD. Here we go, top of the 9th inning, no score. What else is new if you're Michael Click on the mound? Click has been great, as has R.J. Hively. Both starters still in there. Click allowed 4 hits and a walk, 7 strikeouts. Hively also with 7 strikeouts. He's allowed 6 hits and no walks. And 2, 3, and 4, Jay Petchy, Gary Owens, and Mitch Nilsson coming up against Michael Click. We are scoreless in the top of the 9th inning. And the pitch is popped up, foul territory behind the plate. Thorpe giving it a hard look, and that ball is over the other side of the fence. Thorpe was really racing back. Strike 1 on Petchy.
The kid's scrambling to get the ball for some free candy.
That's right. Actually, I've got some Haribo here that one of the kids got. I think he got about 7 foul balls earlier, and he had too much candy, so he very graciously gave it to me. Swing and a miss on a nasty breaking pitch down in the dirt. Petchy nowhere close to making contact with that, and the count 0-2. Petchy, by the way, is 0 for 2 today. He sacrificed and flied out and grounded out. No balls and 2 strike. Michael Click, no signs of weakness just yet. There's a line drive, base hit the other way. And Petchy doing what he does very well, and that is go with pitches. I said Click with no signs of weakness bis jetzt, which those of you that don't speak German means until now.
Good
as soon as I
English,
said
Tim.
it, I realized
Good
what I had done. Cardinal sin of mixing languages. Entschuldigung bitte.
There, you did it again.
Scheiße. You can do it in German, but not in English. So Jay Petchy on first base. He is the go-ahead run. Now Gary Owens. What will the Heideköpfe do here? Will they play it straight? Will they send Petchy? Petchy a short lead. Quick checks on him. Owens is 1 for 3 today with a single. And he squares, and he pulls it back. The pitch is a ball.
Just a bit low, I guess. Looked like a strike from here, but I'm not behind the plate. Well, not directly, at least.
Gary Owens. So even Klaus Ekle joining the party on the small ball. Petchy leads off first. Nobody out. Top of the ninth. No score. Clicks. 1-0 pitch. Swung on. Hit on the ground to short on 2 hops. Fielded by Pinheiro. He touches second. Fires to first. Double play. Gary Owens was squaring to bunt. He pulled it back and swung away and grounds into a 6-3 double play. Oh, and the Disciples need that.
Yeah, with these dangerous hitters. When the Click can breathe a little easier now with 2 outs.
Oh, what a huge play for the Disciples. Pinheiro got kind of a short hop on that play, but he really made sure he stayed with it. And so now 2 outs and nobody on for Mitch Nielsen. And the Heideköpfe fans have to start over with the hope. Swing and a miss on a slider. Michael Click is bearing down. Click's been great every start, but this is the first start I've seen where he really has the look of a guy who is extremely determined and maybe getting a little angry out there in a good way. The pitch. Strike 2 on the inside corner, 0-2. Nothing Nilsson could do with that one, 0-2. This ball game is all about the pitchers. Michael Click and R.J. Hively. No activity in the Heideköpfe bullpen, so Hively will come out for the 9th inning. We are still scoreless. 2 outs, top of the 9th, nobody on. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. The ball in the dirt, blocked by Thorpe, and he tags out his buddy Nilsson. And we're going to the bottom of the 9th inning.
All right,
no score. The Disciples with a chance to walk it off and clinch second place for the first time in their history. We will be back. No score in the game. This is Haar Disciples Baseball, präsentiert von dem Gesundheitsunternehmen
MSD.
We go to the bottom of the 9th. No score in the game. Haar and Heidenheim. R.J. Hively still out there on the mound. He has been brilliant. 104 pitches, 6 hits allowed. 5 of them are singles. He's struck out 7. He's walked no one, and he's going to face 2, 3, and 4 in the order for the Disciples. Nate Sean Thomas, Chris Ziegler, and William Thorpe.
And picked off 1 to remove that double from the scorecard.
Right, that was Thomas, who didn't mean to and hits a little roller to short. Philip Schultz, quick throw to first, and it's not in time, and Thomas is safe. He beats it out.
He's limping again.
And he's hobbling again. Remember, he was hobbling when he made it to second base after his double. This time a little bit more so. A little excuse me swing, and it rolled out to short. Philip Schultz got rid of the ball very quickly. And let's take a look at this on the replay. It was a fastball away. You see Thomas hustling for all he's worth down the line. Bang, bang play at first, and Dandy Bacco called him safe. Klaus Ekla over there having a mild argument. Not very animated, but you know he's arguing the call. And Nachon Thomas, who was already hobbling a little bit after he doubled in the 6th inning and stayed in the game, that time out of desperation, running down the line. Hobbling again, this time a little bit more. He's still off the first base side, walking and trying to put weight on his.
Looks like his left leg.
Yeah. And he's going to stay in the game. So Nachon Thomas gutting it out, and you see he's bending down, trying to stretch his leg. Maybe that's a hamstring. It looked like it was his knee first.
Yeah, knee or his left ankle. Not sure.
So he's on first. Well, now, I mean, he normally would be a threat to run, but if he's injured, he's not going to be a threat to run. But he is the winning run. He holds second place in his legs for the Disciples. Chris Ziegler at the plate. And the pitch. Ziegler drops down a bunt, and it's a beauty. Will it stay fair? Goering picks it up, fires to first. Safe. Thomas on his way to third. The throw. He is out at third base. And third base was dislodged from its moorings. Well, you know what they say? You don't want to make the first or third out at third base, and Thomas did. Great throw from Milch Nielsen. Oh, the bad base running has done the Disciples in today.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't get greedy when there's nobody out. If you're in second base with nobody out, you're already in scoring position, and he was trying to go to third as
with bad wheels. I mean, perhaps if he was 100%, he might have made that. But
yeah, there was a moment where there was nobody covering third, but Mitch Nielsen able to make the throw over there. That's a base hit, so the Disciples really squandering some of their golden opportunities. Now, at least, if you're going to look on the bright side, Ziegler with fresh wheels on first base.
Yeah, but it should be first and second with nobody out, with dangerous Will Thorpe at the plate. Now nobody in scoring position.
And will Ziegler be going? I kind of doubt it. Hively against Thorpe. Thorpe has a base hit in 3 trips today. And the pitch. Good breaking ball on the outside corner, strike one. It was a close play at third, I'll give you that. But still,
yep.
You got to be absolutely sure. If you're the winning run and you're going to make the first out at third base, it's tough.
Especially with bad wheels.
Breaking ball, slow tapper, and it's fielded by Hively. His throw to second is in time to get Ziegler. And Thorpe reaches on a fielder's choice. There are 2 down, and now Ruben Manriquez comes up to the plate. The last man standing between us and extra innings as Richard Klein and his wedding party look on.
Yeah, we could be looking at first and third with 1 out, but instead it's men on first with 2 outs. So, as you said, base running really hurting the Disciples today.
Yeah, Thomas, both times, first he got picked off second base, and now he's thrown out trying to go first to third on a bunt. Like I said, sometimes you'll see the infielders fall asleep and nobody will cover, but the Heideköpfe, veteran team, they managed to get a fielder over there. I believe it was Hively who actually covered and made the play himself.
I believe so.
So now Ruben Manriquez, he's had a couple of winning hits for the Disciples this year. One that was an error, one that was a hit. And the pitch, breaking ball, that's a strike. Manriquez has seen nothing but breaking balls since coming into the game. He struck out. The one time he didn't see the breaking ball, it was after 2 strikes, and he took a pitch down the pipe for the backwards K. 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, no score. Will Thorpe winning run on first. And Manriquez looks at a fastball outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Manriquez, 47 years of age, from Venezuela. One and one. Thorpe off first, not going. Curve is inside. 2 balls and a strike. R.J. Hively, by the way, this game has not walked a single batter. He has not allowed the Haar Disciples any free base runners at all. Michael Click has only allowed 1 walk. The pitching has been stellar, which obviously is why we were 0-0. But not all 0-0 games are made the same. Some of them are kind of just a slag of random ground balls and fly balls. This one not. This is featured
pitching
clutch pitching, I would say. 2-1. Check swing on a fastball outside. They will appeal, or maybe they won't appeal. The count 3 balls and a strike. Simon Lechner is on deck. Well, if Manriquez could draw the walk, it would push the winning run Thorpe into scoring position.
Hively frustrated with that call. He thought he went around.
3 balls and 1 strike to Ruben Manriquez. 47-year-old Venezuelan. Still rocking in the Bundesliga. 3 balls and a strike. There goes Thorpe. The pitch. Fastball strike. Goering sort of second base is not in time. And Thorpe is safe. He stole it. And the winning run now in scoring position. Alex Wagner with the call. And the Heideköpfe, half of them started towards the dugout thinking that it was going to be the 3rd out of the inning by the Disciples.
Yeah, with a better throw, they would have got him, but it was a high throw. Not able to get that tag down in time.
Although Nilsson most certainly thought he did get the tag down in time. Well, the Disciples base running has been risky, to say the least. And that one they got away with.
Well, I think they have the sense that they really have to push it against Heidenheim. Although, in this case, it would have been better to play it a little safer, I think.
Well,
Not
the play with Thomas at 3rd, yes,
exactly,
for sure.
Yeah.
So Ruben Manriquez, now he's got a chance. A base hit could win the game. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the 9th inning. No score in the game. A big pitch coming. First base is open. Simon Lechner is the on-deck hitter. So Ruben trying to get his highlight moment if he can here. 3 balls and 2 strikes. R.J. Hively trying to send us to the 10th inning. Thorpe off second with a winning run. The pitch. Breaking ball. Line drive. Base hit to left center field. Here comes Thorpe around 3rd. He will score, and the Disciples win.
Three and 2, bottom of the 9th. Man on second. Enriquez comes through.
What an unbelievable weekend of baseball for the Haar Disciples. Ruben Manriquez, the hero of the day. A 3-ball, 2-strike, 2-out, bottom of the 9th inning, walk-off single for the 47-year-old Venezuelan native. And the Disciples win by a score of 1-0. They clinch 2nd place in the Bundesliga for the first time in their team history. And they have won 3 games out of 4 against the defending champion Heidenheim Heideköpfe. That's also something they've never done in their history. 2 thrilling ball games last night and tonight.
Wow, what a game.
What a game. Let's look at the replay. Standing ovation by the fans here in Haar. I think it was a breaking ball. And as soon as it went over the shortstop, you knew it. A nice short swing. A tough luck loss from R.J. Hively. The Heideköpfe, always a classy team. And they come out and shake hands, and you see the extended conversation between Will Thorpe and Sasha Lutz. The Haar Disciples win 1-0 because of that man right there, Ruben Manriquez.
Wow, well, what a thrilling game.
Absolutely thrilling ball game. Rick, thank you for joining me.
Happy to be here.
And thanks to you folks for
pleasure.
watching the game. The Heideköpfe fall to 23-5. That is the final record of the regular season. The Haar Disciples, for the 2nd consecutive year, reached the 20-win plateau. They are 20-8 on the season. Today's winning pitcher, Michael Click. And who could be more deserving? R.J. Hively, no one deserved to lose this game for sure, as Hively pitched wonderfully. The totals I'll give you right now. R.J. Hively, 8 2/3. Couldn't get that final out. 9 hits, 1 run, no walks, 7 strikeouts with 114 pitches. Michael Click for the Haar Disciples, a complete game shutout, walk-off fashion, 5 hits, no runs obviously, 1 walk and 8 strikeouts. He threw 115 pitches. And boy, this will be a good one to put the highlights up.
Definitely. It was a thrilling game, dominant pitching performances from both teams. And as you said, hard luck loss for Hively, but you can't fault his performance. He was just brilliant on the mound today. And but Haar fought through and came through with a walk-off by Manriquez. With a 3-2 count on the bottom of the 9th inning, doesn't get more exciting than that.
That's what baseball is best at. Those big moments late in the game, when you have all the moments that lead up to it, all the what ifs, all the why couldn't this happen. Remember Nate Thomas getting thrown out at third really pulled the rug out from the rally, we thought.
Yep.
But
stolen base by Thorpe.
Yeah, very close play, contested call, and a number of very close calls in this game. Both teams had, beefs, I guess you could say, but that's baseball, and that's the way this game ends. The final score 1-0. My name's Tim Collins. Rick, thank you for joining me.
Happy to be here.
For sure, tune in to check out the highlights later on EuroBaseballTV.com. And we're going to take a few weeks off here in the Bundesliga because the All-Star game is next weekend, and then the national team of Germany will travel to Holland for the Honkball Week Haarlem. So I think the next action will take place 3 weeks from now, when the top 4 teams in the North and South will do one more series against each other to determine the final placement for the playoffs, of which both the Heideköpfe and the Haar Disciples will take part. So check back later on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube for the next broadcast times. In the meantime, it's beer garden time, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for tuning in.